You say you want to be rich, but do you? Because wealth, true, lasting wealth, never shows up for the one who simply wishes. It shows up for the one who demands it from life and refuses to take no for an answer. Most people will never be rich, not because they can't, but because they've been hypnotized by comfort, seduced by distraction, addicted to excuses. They sleepwalk through life, their potential rotting in the soil of average. Napoleon Hill said it best. Riches begin with a state of mind, with definiteness of purpose, with little or no hard labor. So the question isn't whether the path to wealth exists. It's whether you have the mind to walk it, the faith to stay on it, and the fire to keep going when every voice, even your own, tells you to turn back. This is not a pep talk. This is a wake-up call. The world has lied to you about what it takes to be wealthy, and until you break the spell, you will never be free. Now listen closely, because I'm going to show you why most people never become rich and how you can be the exception. Let's start here. Most people lose the game before they even begin in their own minds. They've been told since birth that money is evil, that success is selfish, that wealth is reserved for them, not you. So they grow up poor in pocket and poorer in thought. They say things like, I just want to be comfortable, but comfort is the death of greatness. It keeps you exactly where you are, wrapped in the warmth of mediocrity, too numb to feel your own decay. Hill warned us, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But here's the catch. If your mind conceives lack and you believe in struggle, you will achieve exactly that. You'll become a master at barely getting by. You'll find a way to survive but never thrive, because mindset is not positive thinking. It's not taping a vision board to your fridge and praying. Mindset is mental warfare. It's standing guard at the gates of your mind, day after day, hour after hour, and refusing to let weakness in. Most people don't want that responsibility. They want wealth to show up before they change. But life doesn't work that way. Wealth comes to those who are already rich in faith, in vision, in clarity, because money follows value, and value begins in the mind. There is one word that Hill repeats more than any other in his life's work, and that word is faith. Faith, not in religion but in self. Faith in the unseen. Faith in the possibility that your current reality is not your final one. And yet most people walk through life believing more in failure than in success. They put more energy into why it won't work than into building the courage to try. Faith is the invisible engine that moves mountains or keeps them exactly where they are. Hill wrote, faith is the head chemist of the mind. When faith is blended with thought, the subconscious picks up the vibration and translates it into its spiritual equivalent. Translation, what you believe deeply, emotionally, obsessively becomes your reality. Most people never become rich because they never believe they will. They talk themselves out of every opportunity. They let doubt make decisions their destiny should have made. They whisper someday until life whispers back too late. Faith is not a feeling, it's a decision. It's waking up and acting as if your vision is already real, even when the world tells you it's not. That's not delusion, that's the secret. Imagine driving a car with fogged up windows, no map, and no idea where you're headed. That's how most people live. They say they want to be rich, but rich how? Doing what? By when? Vague goals produce vague results, and clarity, that's wealth's favorite language. Hill calls it definiteness of purpose. It's not just wanting more, it's knowing exactly what you want, why you want it, and what you're willing to sacrifice to get it. Because here's the truth. The universe is not withholding wealth from you. It's waiting for you to give clear instructions. Most people, they drift. They bounce from job to job, idea to idea, desire to desire. They follow the crowd, then wonder why they end up lost in it. Hill warned against this trap. He called it the hypnotic rhythm of routine, that slow descent into mental quicksand. Riches require a destination, and not just a destination, but focus. Laser-like obsession level, fire in your belly focus. If you don't know what you want, how will you ever know when it shows up? Write it, speak it, burn it into your mind. Wealth does not reward wanderers. It rewards warriors of clarity. Vision is the blueprint. It's the movie playing in your mind before it hits the screen of your life. But here's where most people fail. Their vision is borrowed from Instagram, from their parents, from what looks safe. They've never stopped to ask, what do I actually want? And until you answer that with brutal honesty, wealth will remain a stranger. Hill taught that the imagination is not child's play. It's creation's first draft. The imagination is literally the workshop wherein are fashioned all plans created by man. But most people never use it. They shut it down, they mock dreamers, they belittle creators, and then wonder why their lives feel empty. Vision is not optional, it's oxygen. And if you don't have a vision for your life, someone else will sell you theirs, usually for minimum wage. So ask yourself, what does your richest life look like? In full, high-definition detail. Can you see it when you close your eyes? Can you feel it in your bones? Most people never become rich because they're too busy staring at the past to design their future. If there is one principle at the core of every rich person's rise, it's belief. Not fake positivity, not wishful thinking, but deep, unwavering, almost delusional belief in the future they've chosen. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Napoleon Hill. That isn't a feel-good quote. It's a formula. Most people never build wealth because they don't believe it's for them. They believe money is evil or rigged or something other people get. So without realizing it, they reject the very thing they claim to want. They sabotage, they delay, they hesitate. They say things like, I'll try, or maybe one day. That language, it's a signal to your subconscious that you're not serious. You can't fake belief. You train it. You affirm it in the dark when no one claps. You anchor it through repetition, visualization, and results, even tiny ones. The rich know you don't get rich and then believe. You believe and then you get rich. Most people die in the waiting room, waiting to believe, waiting for permission, waiting for proof. But here's the truth. You are the proof. Now act like it. Let's talk about energy, because money doesn't just follow effort, it follows vibration. The most magnetic people, the ones who attract deals, opportunities, and wealth, aren't just smart, they're charged. They move with urgency, conviction, and presence. But most people, they're drained before they even leave the house. Why? Poor sleep, junk food, no movement, no direction, endless distractions. You can't build an empire if your battery's dead by noon. Hill didn't just teach mindset, he taught energy management. The body and the mind must function as a unit. Most people never think of wealth in terms of stamina, but wealth requires longevity. It requires mornings where you beat the sun and nights where you outlast the noise. Rich people move like they're on fire because they are, not rushed, not frantic, just focused and electric. You want to be rich? Guard your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Here's what separates the wealthy from the rest. They expect resistance. Most people pray for a smooth ride. They want comfort, convenience, and ease. And the second life punches back, they fold. But the rich, they see resistance as feedback, as a signal that growth is happening. Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Napoleon Hill. Read that again. You lost money? There's a seed in that loss. You got rejected? There's a seed in that rejection. You feel like quitting? That's the moment the breakthrough is being forged. But only if you stay long enough to harvest it. Most people never see the benefit because they leave before the seed sprouts. They quit on day 17. They rage quit the business. They delete the channel. They go back to safe. But you keep going. You understand that resistance is a training ground. It sharpens your edges. It carves out the version of you that's capable of holding wealth without cracking. You don't run from resistance. You build with it. Let's stop pretending that money is complicated. Money is a tool, a mirror, a magnifier. It makes you more of what you already are. And yet most people treat money like it's some mythical creature. They fear it, worship it, blame it for problems it didn't cause. But here's what Hill taught. Money without brains is always dangerous. Properly used, it is the most important essential of civilization. Translation, money is neutral. Your relationship to it isn't. Most people repel wealth because they carry guilt, shame, or superstition around it. They say things like, rich people are greedy. I don't need much. I just want to be comfortable. That's code for, I'm scared. Rich people, they respect money. They study it. They direct it like a general commands troops. Most people, they ignore money until it hurts, then blame the system when they're broke. If you want to be rich, start treating money like a friend, not a stranger. Talk about it, plan for it, invest it, master it, because you cannot attract what you secretly resent. This is the final piece, the part that either ignites your wealth or quietly destroys it behind the scenes. Self-image. No one is ready for a thing until he believes he can acquire it. Napoleon Hill. Your results will never exceed your internal identity. You can work hard. You can say affirmations. You can manifest on a full moon under a crystal. But if you don't believe deeply that you are worthy of wealth, you will block it at every turn. You'll underprice. You'll overthink. You'll hesitate when it matters most. Why? Because at your core, you still see yourself as someone who loses. That's the secret killer. Not failure, not rejection, not the economy, your identity. So here's the upgrade. See yourself as rich before you are. Move like it, speak like it, think like it. Not to fake it, but to align with it. Because the world mirrors back the image you hold of yourself. And if that image is small, scared, or undeserving, you will remain exactly where you are. You want to be rich? Start by being rich internally. Everything else will follow. And now, after all that heat, all that truth, let's cool the flame and settle into stillness. You've just heard what most people will never hear, or if they do, they'll never believe it was meant for them. But you're different. You stayed. You listened. You opened a door that most never walk through. Let it echo. Let it move through your thoughts as the room grows quiet and the shadows soften. You're no longer the person you were when this began. And tomorrow, if you carry even a fraction of this with you, you'll rise just a little stronger, walk just a little taller, and think just a little clearer. That's how it begins. Not with explosions, but with whispers. The kind that remind you you're capable, you're worthy, and yes, you were always meant for more. Now drift back from the edge of your ambition. Sink a little deeper into the quiet. The night is yours. The mission continues in the morning. Sweet dreams.